Hello and welcome to Health Talk. I'm Dr. Manny. Food Network alum Judson Todd Allen grew up with an addiction to food. At 360 pounds and soaring cholesterol, he knew he had to make some changes. So he began studying food science and nutrition and learned healthy foods don't have to taste boring and bland. In his new book, The Spice Diet, Judson shares how the use of flavor can break your addiction to junk food without feeling deprived. He joins me now to explain. So, as a chef, having studied nutrition and different kinds of foods and how they metabolize and all that, tell me how the spice diet works.
So first I'll say the Spice Diet is really a book of my personal testimony of how it changed my life.
Right.
Really, it took me from being addicted to all the wrong foods to being addicted to all the right foods, using different spices and flavor. But in the book, I talk about how the Spice Diet works, right? So it's a two-phase process. In phase one of the diet, I encourage people along that journey of getting them ready to lose the weight. So it's 30 days that they're on the diet plan. We have a specific category of foods, calories that they have to kind of fulfill. And in those 30 days, they lose up to 10 pounds. Now, in the second phase of the book, it's all about the maintenance. So I prepare them for a lifetime of weight loss and a lifetime of healthy living.
Right. But craving, basically, from a scientific point of view, is, you're craving to salty foods. You're craving to sweet things. How do you deal with that, with cravings?
Yeah, so like you and my family, it was all about, we use food to celebrate.
Right, exactly.
So it was.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't, right?
Right.
And so many of us as Americans, not only in my family and me personally back in the day, but we consume so much sodium in our diets and sugar, processed foods. But what I've done in this book, The Spice Diet, is really show people how they can take the foods that they love and transform them to make them healthier. So with the different cravings, for instance, salty.
Right.
One of the things that I like to do for salty foods is I like to bring in elements of citrus and bring in elements of vinegars, right? Because it helps you to salivate, and what it also does is it kind of gives you a really nice balance of flavor.
So you can supplement. So I want you to talk about what spices would you recommend to suppress your appetite?
Yeah, so in suppressing appetite, some really good ones for me, I like to work with things like cinnamon.
Okay.
And cinnamon you can use for breakfast, you can use it in sweets. It's a very sweet spice, right? So it not only satisfies a sweet craving, but it also suppresses your appetite.
Right.
Things like mustards, right? Mustard suppress your appetite. And those are also really great elements as well. And you can do a lot with those in food. From a chef perspective, I like to pair mustards with things like honey or even a little bit of wine, right? And you can take a dry mustard and just mix it with a little bit of honey and spread that over chicken and roast it.
Now, in your book, you also mentioned cayenne pepper.
Yes, cayenne pepper is great.
To suppressing the appetite.
Yep.
And, without getting too scientific, is it because it helps you with the appetite suppression because it sort of fools your brain that you're full, or is it some metabolic properties that let's say, cinnamon or cayenne pepper has in making your stomach feel that I'm okay? Sure.
So it does boost the metabolism, right? And it helps to fight off the fat or burn the fat, right? With the cayenne pepper. Also, another element that I've learned and research shows that spicier foods, right, help to burn metabolism. So not just cayenne, but just spicy foods in general.
All right. So now let's go over two of your favorite spices that support weight loss. Cardamom is one that you like a lot.
Yes, I love cardamom. And cardamom is an Indian spice.
Right.
And a lot of people get so taken aback by it. It's intimidating of a spice, but it's something that actually works very, very well with a lot of flavors that you use. And I encourage people to use it. But just like that, just a teaspoon of it, right? Incorporating it into your diet.
And I remember years back, to get cardamom, you had to go, far away.
You have to go far away?
Now you could find it anywhere.
You can find it in any grocery store now.
When you're preparing foods in your recipe, how do you choose which spices? In other words, let's take cardamom, for instance. What would you apply that in a dish?
So if I was using cardamom, right, one of the things that I would immediately think about is maybe a beverage or an Indian dish. So One of the recipes that I actually give in my book is taking different spice blends. So I talk about blending different spices together. So a little bit of cayenne, a little bit of cinnamon, some curry, and of course the cardamom. So you blend those spices together, you add a little bit of coconut milk, add some lime and some cilantro, and then add a nice protein or maybe a fish or a chicken, and you've got a wonderful dish right there that's full of flavor.
Right.
So this is what I talk about in my book about how to build different spices and how to, I call it architecting the right spice blend.
The question is, what do I need to make a meal, like a full meal, right, of something, and then apply the spices, or can I find other strategies that are simpler, whether it's a cup of tea, whether it's a salad or a soup? You know, so how do you maneuver that?
That's a great question, and I get that all the time. And you can do both, right? You can use the spices in just dishes every day, but using them in soups or using them in sauces or beverages is perfect. And you get the pure potency of that. So I'll give you an example. One of the things that I like to do with turmeric. Turmeric is just great for the body.
Absolutely.
And I take a little bit of turmeric. I take some water. I take a little bit of lemon juice. I'll add a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of honey, and that's my beverage that I'll take in the morning. And I'll just kind of shake that up. If I want to add a little bit of soy or coconut milk to it, again, these are building on beverages that you can do, and these jumpstart your morning.
So where can people get more information about the Spice Diet?
So the Spice Diet is sold everywhere, right? We're sold in Barnes & Noble, on Amazon, they can get the book, but they can also visit my website at www.JudsonToddAllen.com.
All right, well, thank you so much. Great information. I love spices.
Yes.
And I love eating. And if you have a health question, send a tweet to Fox News Health. Until next time, I'm Dr. Manny.